Welcome to Healing the Divide, produced by Methodology Books. We don't bring you news and politics for the sake of discussion. Our responsibility is the bigger picture. Now, don't laugh at me and think that I've gone into some strange Trump-looking program, but this topic is called Explaining Black Jobs to help you understand the Hannibal Lecter discussions. People ask, what does Trump mean when he says black jobs? The first thing you have to understand is that Trump has a limitation that many of us grew past in kindergarten or in life when we learn to understand the nuances of certain words. So you have two types of words that are similar. You have homonyms and polysemies. Now, homonyms are words that sound alike. And usually, oftentimes, they're spelled different, but they sound alike. Like time, when you tell time, and time like, what, season? The seasoning? Okay, so I don't want to believe he's that ignorant, but it may be that if you told Trump you had a tree bark, he would consider that bark the same as a dog's bark. Maybe he knows the difference. I'm not going to take responsibility for that part. But Trump has problems with those things. So we have some examples. In one of our discussions when we talked about the commonalities, something that Gil Scott-Heron, the famous poet, and Joe Biden have in common, we referred to a piece of Gil Scott-Heron's poetry. And I'm going to be using this piece of poetry in a couple of different episodes because they need to be mentioned in a couple of different ways. In that poem, he said,
I have believed in my convictions and have been convicted for my beliefs, conned by the Constitution and harassed by the police. I have been billed for the Bill of Rights and treated like I was wrong. I have become a special amendment for what included me all along, like all men are created equal. Well, no amendment needed there. I have contributed in every field, including cotton, from Sunset Strip to Washington Square.
In this piece, Gil Scott-Heron said, I have contributed in every field. So, if you could imagine Trump, say, listening to someone like Gil Scott-Heron speaking about the issue of black people in America, and he hears Gil Scott-Heron say, I have contributed in every field, including cotton. Trump only sees fields in one way.
If Donald Trump got his definition of the word field from dictionary.com, then he would have gotten this one meaning. Field. Noun. An expanse of open or cleared ground, especially a piece of land suitable or used for pasture or tillage. Sports. A piece of ground devoted to sports or contests, playing field. So his only understanding of field is working out in a field. Black jobs. No one told him about websites like vocabulary.com. It says, this word has many meanings, such as a field of daffodils, a field of study, or a field of battle in a war. Think of a field as an area, either physically or subject-wise. A type of business or area of study is a field. All the subjects you study in school are different fields of study.
In the fields, cotton fields, corn fields, any fields where there's labor in the sun picking something or growing something or producing something. So when Trump says black jobs, he means in the fields. He means cotton picking. He means any of the so-called menial jobs that a lot of people who are Americans or who've been in the country forever don't want to do. That the immigrants come in and willingly do. He's calling those black jobs. There's no secret when he says that he means in the fields. When he was questioned about it, he said black job, any job that a person has. So he's saying, if it's any job a person has, that means there's no such thing as a specifically black job. But his followers, they have that selective amnesia. They don't pay attention. If you ask them, what is it about Trump? They'll say, because he speaks the truth. He'll say it like it is. You know, like they take pride in the fact that he don't back down. He doesn't back down, and he'll say what he needs to say. But when asked, what exactly do you mean by black jobs? he gets vague and says, any job a person has. So his people should be seeing that he backed down. Okay, now how you understand Hannibal Lecter? There's another word, that's polysemous. There's another word that has two meanings and is spelled the exact same way. That word is asylum.
Asylum. 1. An institution offering shelter and support to people who are mentally ill. He'd been committed to an asylum. Trump only understands this meaning. 2. The protection granted by a nation to someone who has left their native country as a political refugee. She applied for asylum and was granted refugee status.
So Trump understands an asylum to be a place where people are kept because they have mental issues. He says asylums are mental institutions on steroids. So he's thinking of, quote unquote, an insane asylum. So someone says to him, there are people who come into this country seeking asylum, and all he hears, his trigger, is the word asylum. But he's not hearing asylum as it refers to having a safe haven. The other definition of asylum: protection, security, a safe place to be. His mind can only see insane asylums. And this is why every time he's talking about immigrants coming into the country, he goes into his Hannibal Lecter bag, because immigrants coming into the country triggers for him asylum, and that's why he said they're coming into the country from insane asylums and this and that, even though the truth is nobody's ever said that but him. But when somebody says they're seeking asylum, all he hears is asylum. So I hope that in explaining to you how he can get tripped up with black jobs helps you understand why he's constantly saying and referring to Hannibal Lecter, who is insane and in an insane asylum, how he connects that to people coming into the country seeking asylum. I hope that helps. Please like our content at YouTube. Click like on our video. Subscribe to our network so we can continue to bring you content. Thank you for your time.